All right, capitalism, socialism. I mean, these are two of the most loaded words in our vocabulary, right? But what if? What if everything we think we know about them is actually wrong? We're about to dive into an idea that completely flips the script on these systems. So let's get right into it.
And this is it. This is the question that unlocks the whole argument we're digging into today. What if the systems we've been taught to champion as freedom are actually, well, forms of control? And what if the systems we're told to fear are, in a real democracy, the ultimate expression of our power, the people's power?
Okay, so before we can really jump into that massive question, we've got to get our terms straight. The source material draws a really important line between two ideas that, let's be honest, get jumbled up all the time: egalitarianism and socialism. Getting this difference is like step one. It's essential. So check out the contrast here. Socialism, in that classic textbook sense, is all about the government owning pretty much everything, the means of production, right? And the goal is to redistribute wealth for equal outcomes. But egalitarianism? That's a totally different beast. It's not about the government controlling the whole economy. Not at all. It's about building a floor, a safety net that guarantees the basics so nobody can fall through the cracks. And above that floor, private property, free markets, going out and pursuing wealth, that all thrives. See the difference? It's huge. Socialism wants to own and manage the entire building. Egalitarianism just wants to make sure the foundation is rock solid for everyone. And to make this crystal clear, the source uses this really great analogy, thinking about society as a building. Let's walk through.
Okay, so first up, pure, unregulated capitalism. This is basically a free-for-all. Everyone has to build their own foundation from scratch. And if you can't, well, you fall. Then you've got the classic socialist model. Here, the state just owns the whole building, top to bottom, and tells everyone where they get to live. But then there's the egalitarian model. In this one, we, the community, through our government, make sure everyone has a solid foundation. You know, the basics are covered: food, water, healthcare. But on top of that foundation, go wild. You're totally free to build a tiny cottage or a giant skyscraper. Your efforts still shapes your success, but your actual survival is never, ever on the line.
Okay, so with that building analogy locked in our minds, we can get to the real heart of the conflict here. The source argues that this pure, unregulated form of capitalism doesn't just create inequality, it goes deeper. It's a fundamental attack on the unalienable rights that America was supposedly founded on. I mean, really think about this for a second. The Declaration of Independence says you have a right to life. But what good is that right if the medicine you need to live is priced for maximum corporate profit, or if the water you need to drink is controlled by a private monopoly? All of a sudden, that unalienable right starts to look a lot more like a commodity. It becomes a subscription service you have to pay every month, or you die. The source puts it bluntly. That's not a right, that's a hostage situation. And then there's liberty. What is real liberty? It's the freedom to say no, right? The freedom to walk away from a terrible, exploitative job, to speak your mind, to take a chance on a new idea. But if losing your job also means losing the health insurance that's keeping your kid alive, are you actually free? Or are you chained to that job? It becomes a kind of modern economic bondage. And that brings us to the pursuit of happiness. And let's be clear, this isn't about just owning a bunch of stuff. It's about having the freedom to grow, to learn, to create, to dream. But when every single ounce of your energy is spent just trying to keep the lights on and food on the table, there's no space left for anything else. The pursuit of happiness, that becomes a luxury you just can't afford. It gets replaced by the grim, day-in, day-out pursuit of mere survival. So all of this, it's all building up to the most radical, maybe even shocking idea in the source material. What if the political labels we throw around every single day aren't just a little bit wrong? What if they've been deliberately flipped upside down to hide the truth about where power really sits?
And there it is, the big one, the central argument, that what we call capitalism today is actually a form of socialism. Now, I know, that sounds completely nuts, a total contradiction. But just stick with me for a minute, because the logic behind this is the entire point of what we're breaking down here.
The term they use is privatized socialism, and the argument goes something like this. If we define socialism by the centralization of economic power in a top-down command economy, then what on earth is a modern megacorporation? Think about it. It is a top-down command economy. The CEO is basically a dictator you can't vote out. The board of directors acts like a central planning committee, making all the big decisions from on high. Workers have little to no say. Power is completely centralized. It's just in private, totally unaccountable hands. And this is where you can really see that great reversal in action. We're told over and over that public institutions, the government, are the big bad wolf, the source of all tyranny. But hang on, in a republic, who is the government? It's us, we the people. We can vote them in, we can vote them out. They are accountable to us. But at the same time, we're told that private corporations are the engines of freedom. But who are they accountable to? A tiny, unelected group of shareholders. You have no vote, you have no say. So which one of those sounds more democratic? And which one sounds a lot more like an oligarchy?
Right. So this whole massive head-spinning argument, it really boils down to one single crucial question. Who's accountable? Who actually holds the power? And who gets to hold them responsible for their actions?
This table lays it all out, plain and simple. Look at public institutions. Who are they accountable to? Us, the voters. We, the people. What's their main goal? Supposedly the public good. And what's your role? You're a citizen with constitutional rights. Now compare that to a private corporation. Accountability? That's to shareholders and shareholders only. The primary goal? Profit, period. And your role? You're a customer or you're an employee with pretty limited rights. When you see it side by side like this, that old narrative that private equals freedom and public equals tyranny really starts to look shaky, doesn't it? And this right here gets to the absolute core of it all. The source argues that we've kind of forgotten the most fundamental principle of our own system of government. In a republic, the state isn't some foreign enemy, it's us. It's the tool that we, the people, created to serve our collective needs. So when you look at it that way, public ownership isn't scary state control, it's popular control. It's democracy in action. And that brings us to the final question that this whole analysis leaves us with. When it comes to the things you literally need to stay alive, we're talking food, water, medicine, a roof over your head. Who should be in control? Should it be democratic institutions that are accountable to you, the citizen? Or should it be private oligarchic corporations that are accountable only to shareholders you'll never meet and can never vote out? According to the source, how you answer that question, well, that defines everything about the kind of society you really believe in.